There we go. Hi everyone. Welcome to Through the Hedgerow Vlog 6. I'm here with Dmitri, who is I guess you're a filmmaker.
Artist,
Filmmaker?
filmmaker, yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere in between.
Yeah. And as you can see, his interesting aubergine, Mr. Potato Head, mushroom man in the background. Does that have a name, or is it just?
It doesn't have a name. It was a sculpture made in my favourite pub in Hackney.
Right.
We made various different fruit and vegetable heads.
I love
That
it.
was one of my favourite. But if you scroll down, there's
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, that one's quite great.
If anyone would like to pay for them to any one of these to be cast in bronze, then by all means, I've been trying to make that happen for many years.
Oh, I like this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a shame they rot, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It's actually made me want to go and get watermelon. There's no watermelon about at the moment. So we're here to talk a little bit about Lift the Lid and your project, which is part of a community art celebration, really, isn't it? And you're taking a bit of a different tack that to a lot of people. You're doing very much about the ferries and how that they interact with the
So
island.
the project is based in East Cow for East Cows. It will be shown in East Cows, and the majority of the people that I'm speaking to, apart from yourself, are East Cows residents. And it's about the history of the town and its cultural heritage, and how that has been sort of intertwined with the ferry over the years, and Red Funnel, past, present and future.
And you were telling me yesterday you just travelled the ferries all day.
Yesterday I went back and forth about 10 times.
How did you find that?
It was exhausting.
Yeah.
And I have a whole newfound admiration for the crew. I did a short day compared to them, and I was completely.
Did you? I remember once going on the ferries, and it was a particularly still day, and I think we got halfway through, and then all of a sudden the ferry started to rock a little bit, and all of a sudden seasickness kicked in for me, just like that.
Right.
It was really weird. Did you have any?
No, I didn't actually have many. No, it was pretty good. I mean, I have this hugely nostalgic thing about ferries. I remember always, all holidays when I was growing up, would stop and start at a ferry, and something to do with the way they look. The architecture is so unique. I mean, maybe it's like other ships, but my only experience of ships really is ferries. But the gloss whites and the curved doorways and the rust and the kind of bombastic architecture is so reminiscent for me of holidays and taking the car ferry to the Isle of Wight with my dad, or France, or camping. Always we used to take the overnight ferry to France, I remember, and we never would get a cabin for whatever reason.
Are you going to the south of France?
No, I don't know why it took all night to get across the channel. I think it was cheaper or something.
Really?
It's a bit like the sleeper train to Glasgow. Like, I don't know why it took all night, but there are overnight ferries that go to France, just across the channel.
Yeah.
And I don't know why anyone would ever take them, actually, because thinking about it now as an adult, it doesn't make much sense, because you can do it in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
But we always did it all night long, and it took all night. Maybe you save on accommodation the other side.
Maybe, because I thought the long one left from here at Portsmouth.
Yeah, somewhere like that. It did go from somewhere like that.
Yeah, interesting. I have a real affinity with ferries as well. I think they, growing up in Sydney, just crossing the harbour was always on ferries, and here you want to leave the UK at all. You know, you can fly and whatever else, but you know, you want a lot of my holidays have always started with ferries as well, going to France and about 10 years ago I was made redundant from a job, and they gave me this big payout, and I thought, you know, I'm going to go on a road trip, and I drove all around I drove around Europe right up to Norway. Slept in my car, and I'd wash in service stations and things like that. And I did that for like 3 weeks.
Cool.
And I still have this memory of the coming back and getting to Calais. And it, you know, it was just this last stretch, the last bit till I got home, and I just thought, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I've been travelling for so long. Yeah. And I remember getting on the on the ferry, and I just fell asleep. And next thing I know, I woke up and here we were. You know, there's Dover, and yeah, it's a big part of everyone's memories, I think.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this film that you're making. So, what do you think's been the highlight for you for this filming that you've done?
Well, it's very early days. I've only done a couple of 1.5 days filming so far.
Okay.
But actually our chat just now was quite high up there.
Oh, well, there you go. See,
it was pretty amazing.
Thank you.
You seem to be able to articulate some of the things that I'm interested in much nicer words.
Oh, thank you. That's such a lovely thing to say. Thank you. I think I tend to approach things from a very verbose way, I think, and I try to think of things and describe things more tactile, and it's all about senses for me rather than, you know, there's a lever that you pull here and there's, you know, it's more about how that feels and smells and touches and tastes and how that memory sits within my own mind. So changing gears a little bit, one thing that I wanted to quickly touch on was your pumpkin.
I've got to be very careful what I say, because the last time I did a short interview about my pumpkin misadventures. The next thing I knew, I had news trucks outside my house.
Oh, did you? So we've got a picture of you. There we go. Here's some pictures of you in your pumpkin.
Right. So that I've done 2 giant pumpkin related voyages.
Now, am I wrong? But there was something to do with the Guinness Book.
Yeah. So that picture there, if you go up, was that was a Guinness World Record, which was fastest 100 meters travelled in pumpkin on water.
So there actually was a record for that already.
Yeah, that is in the book. Yeah. Oh no, there wasn't. I set the record.
Oh, you set the record.
It's much easier to set a record than it is to break a record.
So I was going to say it's a really weird and specific.
Well, it's a bit of a minefield in trying to set a new record, because everything has to be commercial. Like there's so few. So, like for example, that paddle had to be a commercially available kayak paddle.
Okay.
You know, there has to be. They're very strict on what the parameters are.
Right. So someone can duplicate it
in exactly the same. With exactly the same conditions, but of course the pumpkin, you'll never get 2 pumpkins the same.
So that was a real pumpkin.
They're real pumpkins, yeah.
Right.
That was a second place winner at the Meerbrow Giant Pumpkin Competition in Lancashire.
We had quite a pumpkin here last year.
Yeah.
On the island, it was massive. They had this big truck. Never seen anything like it. So, and did you clean it out, or did they?
Yeah, no. So I went to Lancashire to this pumpkin show with a wad of cash. Which wasn't mine.
I was going to say, you got more money than me, mate.
And I bid on several the winning pumpkins, and then I put them in a van, and then I drove them to a place called Trafalgar Wharf.
Oh, here's a video of you in the pumpkin. There we go.
Oh yeah.
So skip forward. Oh, there we go. There he is. There's
It was a while ago. I look younger.
Yeah.
fresh-faced.
Yeah. Less jaded.
Less jaded.
So you're saying that you had news vans turn up?
No one could have. I never would have predicted in a million years that doing something as absurd as that would have got. I mean, this is. What is this we're watching now? But it was BBC World News, believe it or not.
This is from 2013.
It was on Have I Got News for You? I got asked to do the most insane things afterwards. I got asked to kind of like. I remember they FedExed me a tie from Cambridge University rowing team and said, you know, could I get a picture? I was a kind of very, very, very minor celebrity for about 24 hours.
Yeah. Was it worth it? That's quite a look there. That's a speedboat version.
Yeah, so that's the one that went across to the Isle of Wight.
Oh, you drove it here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that one. So I tried to do it in the kayak version.
Yeah.
I didn't get out the harbour. So then it got modified into with a bit more buoyancy and an engine on the back, and I got over it in 2 hours. So this is the third time I've been to the Isle of Wight.
Once in a pumpkin. And did you stink of pumpkin afterwards?
Not really. The salt water, I think, and I was wearing a dry suit.
Ah, okay.
But it was quite full of water by the end, which
bet.
was surprising. It was
That's brilliant.
a funny project because it was one of those things that I just thought would be, you know, it was like this romantic idea. When I found out pumpkins could float, it was this very romantic idea. It was like, get a pumpkin, you know, put it in the back of the car, cut a hole in it, jump in and sail off to sea. And it was this very simple thing. But then when I got there, I was like, you can't lift these things. I mean, you need forklifts and vans, and how then do you get it in the water?
Yeah.
And suddenly it was like, actually, this is not just the romantic, you know, James and the Giant Peak story. This is a huge amount of infrastructure and experts and cranes and engines and Guinness World Record adjudicators and then news vans, and the whole thing went from this very kind of like lovely folk tale into this kind of mad macho scrap heap challenge thing.
I think it's brilliant. When I saw that, I just thought that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Right, good.
Oh, fantastic. So when do we expect to see your film?
It's mid-September in East Cowes.
Okay. You're having a
venue to be confirmed.
Yeah. Will we get an invite?
Yeah, absolutely.
Free champagne?
I don't know about that. I'm not sure if that's
I'm only going if
responsible use of public money.
Well, thank you so much for coming. I know you're on a tight schedule and you're off to do some more videoing. But thank you for coming to my little shed
and on my live stream.
Bye.